I remember growing up and becoming an adult at the age of 17, 18 years old, starting my first job. I had no clue what I was doing with my money. I didn't have a bank account. I didn't have a means of knowing how to even go into a bank and fill out a withdrawal slip. I didn't even know how to use the ATM machine because nobody taught me these things when I was a teenager. I had no financial literacy at all. And I didn't understand that this was something that my parents should have given me or provided to me very early on in my high school years, going into my early college age years. But today I'm going to tell you, if you are a parent out here and you're watching this video and you come across this video, this is the very first step in you understanding or realizing that this is the time for you to take your 14 or 21-year-old child and really give them a great financial literacy lesson to provide them with a really substantial platform on everything that they need to know so that they can have a really productive financial health right off the bat of them coming into early adulthood. Now, obviously, if you have a child who can comprehend this subject matter at a very earlier age than 14, by all means, please introduce that. The earlier, the better. I have an 11-year-old daughter and she's been learning money tactics and investment strategies since she was about 9 years old. And now she has a really great comprehension of it all, a really great foundation of it all. And so by the time she gets to be 14, 15 years old, she'll probably be running all of my transactions, The very first thing that you want to do is make sure that your child has a very healthy relationship with the understanding of money and with money in general. What do I mean by that? I mean, make sure that the relationship, the ideology, the association that your child has with money is positive and healthy. Growing up in households where poverty is a concern, lack is a concern, or, you don't have enough money can create an unhealthy relationship about what money truly is, how it changes our lives, and how we think about it. If we're always told we don't have enough of something, or we're always told that we have to save and we have to restrict and we have to budget, we're building a scarcity mindset in our children that we don't even know that we're continuing to nurture and develop. And by the time they're adults, it's going to be out of control. The way that you associate money in your mind is how money is going to show up in your life throughout the duration of your life. The next thing that you should definitely teach your children is the banking process. I am almost afraid to admit that when I was 17 and 18 years old, I had no idea how to use an ATM machine. I had no idea how to fill out a withdrawal slip, a deposit slip, a check, how to sign a check, how to write a check, how to cash a check. And so I know it's 2024 and people don't really do checks anymore. But if they're dealing with corporations, if they're dealing with businesses, if they're dealing with institutions who have a mass amount of money, the likelihood of a check being produced here and there is still likely, right? And so you want to teach them how to still balance their accounts and know what they're spending versus what's going out and what's coming in, how banks charge their fees, how banks do close out their monthly statements. They should know how to look at all of these things, assess these things, and know exactly what it is that they're looking at to stay on top of their money. The next thing that we should be teaching our children is financial responsibility. Now, I know we're in a world where parents still love to pay their children's bills and expenses and take them shopping and pay their cell phone bills and all of their little financial obligations that teenagers rack up because they rack them up. But here is the deal. If you don't ever teach them how to pay their bills, how are they going to get into practice of paying their bills when they become real adults? And so what happens is they go out on their own and then they have this influx of bills that comes their way now that they're out on their own, but they've never really had to pay bills. So they're not really understanding the concept of seeing this money go to an obligation or seeing this money come into my account, but it's really not mine. It's meant for something else. And so I like to say this. Put the money in their account because you're still giving them money at this age of their lives, right? Put the money in their account and then give them a small bill to pay. And maybe you have already added the amount of the bill into the money that you're giving them, and that's fine too. But you want them to just get in the habit of making the payment, get in the habit of setting it up, getting in a habit of having a financial obligation that they must fulfill before they go out and start to just freely spend their money on enjoyment and entertainment. They need to understand some sort of responsibility that will always follow them, because they're going to grow up very, very soon. Now, if you find yourself in a space where you're saying, well, I don't know how to do half of these things for myself, how can I teach my children how to do these things? And I'm going to tell you, just as much as I tell everybody else, it is never too late to learn anything. And so if you get off this video today and you discover that I've woken up something inside of you that made you want to go out and learn how to do some of these things yourself, I encourage you to start doing it. The earlier you start doing it for yourself, the quicker you can start getting it out to your children. Now, sometimes it is more effective to teach your children while you are learning. And so y'all can learn together. And so what that means is you may learn something, get the concept of it down pat, and then you take it back to your child, you teach them. Not only does it help you to kind of, stay in the motion of what you're learning, but you're retaining things because you're regurgitating it and you're putting it into action with someone else. The next thing that we should be teaching our children is about credit. All right. I don't know at what particular point credit became such a bad thing for parents to teach teenagers. Don't get a credit card. Credit cards are bad. Credit card. I was told that so many times, but that is furthest away from the truth as possible. Encourage your children to get a credit card or two. They need to have some sort of revolving credit accounts to start building up their credit profile. If you, mom or dad, have not already started their credit profile by adding them on as authorized users and piggybacking off of your credit, which is something that I really encourage. And if you want to know more about that, leave me a comment in the comment section below, and I'll make a whole nother video about credit in general. But you should definitely be teaching your children about building and establishing a credit profile that they, again, have to have responsibility about, that financial responsibility that we just talked about, and how to leverage their credit over the course of the next few years of their life, especially that first 5 years of their life. And so we want to make sure that we're doubling down on teaching them the real way to build credit. The next thing on the list is about investment and savings. Now, I understand a lot of adults still don't have quality investment accounts or savings accounts. So if you are not really familiar about this subject matter, or you don't really have a lot of experience with it, that is okay. As I said earlier in this video, it is never too late to learn. And so this is your key. Right? This is your little nudge. I'm pushing you out of the nest to get with it and start learning it now. Because the way our children are growing up, we already know they're not going to have access to a 401k. They're not going to have access to Social Security. And so now is the time for them to start learning to take some of the excess money that they have in their accounts, and instead of blowing it on life's treasures, okay, all the time, I need to stop saying okay so much. I'm working on it. Instead of them blowing it on life treasures all the time, they can take a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit here and a little bit there. And they can start to put it in either a money mutual account that is going to collect interest, or they can pour it into an investment strategy or an investment account or an investment process that's going to build more income for them. Teach them right now to put their money where it's going to make them more money first. We've made it to the end of this video. I have the final thing that we should be teaching our children about. And honestly, it is something that a lot of adults, just like investment, still don't understand or still don't have a vast amount of knowledge about. And if you really want a book suggestion where you can read some of these things to teach your children and have a very quality way of regurgitating the information, leave me a comment below and just say book suggestion, please. And I will drop you a book suggestion based on whatever it is that you want to know more about, so that you and your children can have both top quality education that you can get in the details of the books. This last thing that I want to talk about is taxes. Everybody hates taxes, but let me tell you, taxes are so necessary for you to teach your children. They have to understand the concept of paying Uncle Sam whatever he is worth, okay, or whatever he takes at that point. And they need to understand tax law. Now, taxes are so dreaded and forbidden on so many levels for so many different reasons. But here's what I'm going to tell you. tax law is written actually in your favor. And so the people who do not profit or who is not of benefit from taxes are the ones who are ignorant of tax law. They are written to help you and to protect you. So this is a perfect time to get this started. A lot of teenagers are graduating. Young adults are starting college. And so this is the perfect time for you to start to implement these things. I want you to tell me in the comments below, which one of these do you think will be the easiest for you to get started teaching your teenager how to become a mini adult and rock out at their finances very early on in life? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, go ahead and join the family, subscribe, and share this video with another mom who has a similar journey and is going to be coming up on raising teenagers or getting a teenager ready for adulthood. Let me know how it works out for you. Until next time, guys, I'm Nicole Swanson. Come back and see me.